All right, hello. We are Team 4320 here to present our AI Resume Builder project. And to meet the team, we have Wesley. We have Matthias, who can't be here with us due to travel, but he wrote the script for this video. We have Dason, who also couldn't be with us, but she edited this. And then we have Patricia to my left here, and then myself, Max. And just kind of overview of the direction of this video. We're going to start by describing our problem, then we're going to go into our solution, and then we're going to talk about the client information, give a background of the startup as well, and then we're going to talk about our intended users for our project, and then from there we'll go into our user research, and then we'll have a brief discussion of the tech stack we plan to use for the implementation phase, as well as do a brief demo of our artifact, and then we'll have a reflection and kind of go over some of the conclusions and challenges of this process.
So the problem that we are introducing is the fact that current AI resume builders use a lot of filler words. They don't actually get to the core unique personality of the user. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to take an approach of an actual career coach that takes questions and guides a user to fully understand their personality. So we want to bridge the two to solve this problem. So the solution we have is, instead of building an actual LLM from scratch, we want to use an already existing one, which is the GPT-4o Mini. This saved us a lot of time and work. We also built a front-end interface that the user can interact with to see their full resume and process, and then when it's actually completed. And the key function is to have different prompts which mimic like a coach asking a user questions. So the LLM will be asking different prompted questions based on the input from the user. Yep. And this should be able to pass both the ATA screening and the human portion of going over resume. So our client is Career Sage. It's founded by Matthew Adiza, and it's a startup company that is within a bigger project. And their project focuses on helping people tailor their unique needs to their job search options. And so what they're focusing on right now is just a smaller part of a bigger project tailored towards career exploration. The users we're focusing on are entry-level jobs, so people looking for entry-level jobs, so basically college graduates, and the company wants to focus on a wider range of users after this project is done. This is just a smaller project to gauge our experience with these users. So we also conducted user research. It was based on surveys, secondary and primary sources, and some of the sources were provided by our client himself. And based on these sources, we realized that a lot of people had the same problem, which is they did not like that current AI resume solutions only create an AI sounding resume that only passes the screenings but don't pass the human component. So this shows that the problem we are trying to solve is actually a needed problem, and we're not just wasting our time.
Right, and so current solutions look like these web apps. So we'll be building our own using this tech stack. So this tech stack was chosen not for its specific benefits, but really because it was handed to us by the client. We'll be interacting with their system as a whole, and their system right now is using a React front end, a Node.js backend, and for all their cloud computing databasing, they're using Azure services. So pretty much, we think it's going to be a good option. It's given to us, but either way, it's a great option. And yeah, looking forward to doing it. React is very lightweight, fairly simple to learn. Same with Node.js. And Azure services are pretty straightforward, unlike AWS. So our artifact, a bit more in depth from Patricia's solution slide, was pretty much our project is not really based on actually making the LLM itself, but it's figuring out how to use the existing LLM. So pretty much we don't want to actually just kind of have a single conversation. We found that, that's something that people often do today in college, things that we've done, and people that many of our friends have done as well. but we all have found, through user research and our own experience, that just one conversation, whatever AI that you're chatting with, it doesn't actually remember what you're saying and doesn't provide something really meaningful. So the idea was that, this LLM has all this context, but it doesn't sound human, it doesn't sound real. And an actual career counselor, it sounds real, but they don't always have all the context. So we wanted to bridge that gap, and we think that that's where the real business opportunity lies. So pretty much what we found right here, we need to break up our LLM conversation. Something that we found was that, if we actually have multiple small conversations with the LLM, and then, put them together, that creates something good instead of just one long conversation. We also are using GPT-4o Mini. That's the most cost-effective AI model that is offered by OpenAI. The reason that we're using OpenAI, like ChatGPT, is because OpenAI has a partnership with Microsoft. CareerStage is inside the Microsoft Startup Lab, and so we're getting a whole lot of free ChatGPT credits. Pretty good, and we want to do that. So pretty much the way that we're putting this all together is, I know you might be thinking, how are they going to have any sort of, standard for what they're making? And so, well, we found out that there is a standard online. If you go to jasonresume.org, you'll find a JSON format that people can use to actually make their resumes. And so we're going to be using that, and just in all these small conversations, the LLM is going to fill it out as you go. We're going to be having, in each conversation, we're going to be saying, hey, go over, my skills section. You have a short conversation, it pulls out everything to make a good skills section, and then you go on to the next conversation. Let's talk about education. On the front end, each of those conversations will be outputting their own, JSON blob section, and they'll be putting them together for use in the future to actually make the resume. We thought that this would be a smart way to do it because our JSON is a really simple data structure that ChatGPT can really understand well. And so instead of asking it to make something like LaTeX or like a Word doc, we found that it would be better to decouple this process so that we could actually make the format later, and so that users could switch between formats more easily.